Mama J was one of the biggest targets post-merge on this season of Survivor, yet she made it all the way to Final Five. And Julie joins me now. Julie, so good to speak with you. How are you?
Doing well. So good to be here. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's start with this. Tell me what it was like getting to play with your fellow Reba Alliance for the majority of the game.
Like a dream. I mean, as bad as it was for Lulu, that's how amazing it was for Reba. Like honestly, my biggest fear was being first one voted out. I get
Sure.
it. I'm a target. And then I look around at everybody that's wearing red and I'm like, oh, we're not going anywhere. This is amazing. And then to have I loved Jay Maya and I loved Sifu, but to also, and Sifu and I he was my first alliance. We called it the geriatric alliance because, he's the old number of 30, maybe he's 35, 36. And so he was my alliance, which I thought he was going to protect me. I didn't know I'd have to protect him. He's running around looking for me. And but then to have a tight alliance with Dee, Austin, and Drew, just the whole, it was amazing. Like we just would meet, plan, strategize. I loved all three of them. And it just was like, it's too easy. Like we're just picking people off. Like let's
Yeah.
just know and not let anybody know. And we'd meet at night and not during the day. So people didn't even know we were that close. Like who gets to play that kind of game? It was awesome. I mean, because
Yeah.
the duo was dangerous. When people are like, ooh, Dee and Austin, we should split them up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, four, which is what
Yeah.
we were.
Yeah.
So I felt it at the time. I was like, we're changing how to play Survivor.
Yeah.
Like you think it's an individual game. No.
Mm.
Go
Hmm.
into it with an alliance and people were like, I always wanted that. I wanted the alliance and then at the very end be able to cut them. I'm like, you're already gone. Like
Yeah.
go with an alliance. Like,
Mm.
hey, the four of us are going to the end. Everybody else back off. And it was powerful. It was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Who would you say you maybe bonded with most outside of Reba?
That's a good question. Everyone. Loved Katura.
Okay.
We had an amazing bonding moment when we first got back to merge. The fact that we were both hiding, the fact that we were attorneys is so hilarious to me now. But like we really bonded. I loved Emily, wanted to connect with her. One, because Drew and Austin were like, hey, heads up, Emily's cool.
Hmm.
We were just on to each other the whole time. Like I think we
Yeah.
both wanted that spot with Drew and Austin, and I was willing to share. She was not. And I knew she was coming for me. I loved Bruce. That's actually would have bonded more with Kelly, except she had my spot with Bruce, right? Like I needed her
Mm.
gone because I needed that. Loved Sean. Oh, I can't even tell you everybody. I guess that's I do the little bit that I saw with Caleb. He and I sitting there together, and he was like, I know your game. And I'm like, I know you do. That's why you have to go. Like I felt like he knew he saw it. And he's the
Yeah.
one that put attention on me. He was like,
Mm.
what is wrong with y'all? Y'all are missing Julie over here. And I'm like, shut up,
Yeah.
shut up. And so he put the bug in Jeff's ear, and I'm like, Caleb, stop, you gotta go. And I'm like, oh, Caleb, if we were on the same tribe together, we would have gone far. So I don't know. I just thought it was the most amazing cast. It was just
Yeah.
a good cast.
It was a very good cast. Very good cast. Now, Julie, how would you say that your game changed when Dee comes to you and says, hey, they're trying to blindside you, but you're going to play your
Right.
idol?
Right. Well, what's funny is at that point, I didn't believe that my idol was real. Um,
Mm.
because I'm like, okay, Drew's turned. When did he turn? When? Because I remember like we had a bonding moment on the beach, and I knew that was him basically saying, I'm turning on you, and me saying,
Hmm.
yeah, I get it. But I mean, lack of sleep, lack of food, and you can't make the timeline make sense. Because I'm like, really? They're gonna send me home with this. They know I've got this idol. Oh my god, the idol's not real. It's not real.
Mm.
So that was part of which they don't show. I'm like, Dee, maybe they switched it on me and it's not. She was like, what? Because I'm like, that's how smart they are. It's just a matter of when did they turn? So that was mostly my struggle of, this might not, do I play my shot in the dark instead? I'm like, no, I really, because I believed Austin gave me the idol, but like I didn't see him put it in the bag. Like viewers at home see that. All I know is he says he's giving it to me. But then when I'm sitting on my bamboo, Drew's the one that hands me my bag, and Drew nods. And I look over at Austin, and Austin nods. So that's them. At the time, I'm like, great, I've got an idol.
Yeah.
But then when you replay it, you're like, Drew was part of that. Did Drew switch it then? Is that what he switched? So that was a big part. Like there's just, and you can't show all that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's too many moving pieces that we're dealing with out there. So did I think, now I wanted to vote out Austin because my feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
They're fair, because I was like, no, it's Reba before. And then I'm like, I can't vote out Drew. He's safe. So I'm like, oh, and I know he's got an idol. That'll get rid of that. But I couldn't think of how I'd survive the next night if I took him out and not Emily. Like motions wise, how cool, what a flashy play.
Sure.
I really didn't need to be more flashy for the jury. Like I always felt like if I got to the final three, I'd win. So I didn't need to cocky. I don't know. That's honestly how I felt in playing the game. I'm like, I don't care how I get to the end, I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
So I didn't need to make a big move for the jury. And if I took out Austin, I'm stuck with Drew and Emily. That girl, did you see how she got Bruce? Like she was coming for me. I didn't survive another night. So I still think I made the right move taking Emily over Austin, even though it would have been more fun for the viewers had I done this flashy thing. You don't care while you're playing. You just want to make it next night.
Yeah, it's all about self-preservation. And I appreciate hearing all that insight. Now, why did you ultimately, obviously she was your biggest ally throughout the game, but why did you ultimately choose to vote for Dee to win?
It was hard, actually. Like, she's my girl, love her, knew her game, but also knew Austin's game. I mean, what an amazing, I knew his game. So I knew Dee's game. And so, like, between the two of them, it really was a battle. But part of me was also like, Drew's voting for Austin.
Yeah.
I'm voting for Dee. We cancel each other out. Y'all are now battling for everybody else. That was part of, like, I kind of felt like Drew and I were there. Now, I can't really speak for Drew. Maybe he was undecided. I just, in my head, I was like, this is how it's going.
Sure.
And, I mean, if you got a tie, which their games were amazing, let's go with the person that saves you and not the person that writes your name down 3 times. I'm just saying. I mean, if you got to decide, because so could she have saved me at final 5? Is that really her job? She now has to save Julie? Like, let me go. Like, I don't know. Even in that, well played. Like, she didn't write my name down. And if Julie's going to go and she didn't have to write my name down, well done. So even in that, way to get rid of me with no blood on your hands. Like, even in that. So I don't know. The two of them, amazing game. Amazing. I am. So that's kind of what tipped the scale.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I appreciate you sharing all that. All right, my final question for you. One of my favorite things you said kind of closer to the end was talking about how you saw Survivor second chances and you were like, I'm going to get my second chance at life. And you kind of defined that as becoming a lawyer after 40 and then also actually coming out and playing Survivor. So how would you say that your experience on the show measured up to maybe your initial expectations?
The show is 100 times harder than I expected. I've watched all of it. Like, I started in 2015, but let's go back and watch it. Love the game. When I first saw it in 2015, I'm like, I'm going to play that game and I'm going to dominate. Like, I was like, nope, this is what I'm going to do, whatever. Started working out, going to the gym just so that I wasn't the weakest link. I didn't expect to get far physically. But it's fun for me to have goals. So that was a goal and I was doing it. And then to get out there, the challenges, I don't think they're humanly possible. The fact that we do them is pure adrenaline. It doesn't make sense to me because they're just harder than they even look. It's all harder. The social game is harder. It's not just about getting to the end. It's getting to the end and then wanting to give you $1 million. Like every aspect of it So yeah, it exceeded my expectations. I guess
Okay.
it exceeded. It was so much harder and better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I love hearing that. We loved watching you on this season. Mama J, thank you so much for your time and congrats on
Thank
such a
you.
great run on this season of Survivor.